Cross. Now, here are your hosts, former Flyer Brad Marsh and Paul Jolovitz.
And welcome, everybody, to the beautiful Chickies and Pete's on the campus of Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. I'm Paul Jolovitz. Brad Marsh, our co-host, will be along in a couple minutes. A little traffic out there. Our guest tonight is Chris Bundy Therien, longtime Flyer defenseman. Got a million TVs here. Actually, that's a lie, not a million, but a lot of TVs here, a lot of energy here, and we're looking forward to a great show tonight, talking Flyers with Bundy. How are you tonight?
Doing great, Jolly. Great to be here as always.
You
called. It sounded yesterday like you were really desperate, and I said I'm going to blow off my daughter's basketball game tonight to come here to Rowan University.
I'll tell you what,
and Pete's.
Jim Jackson was supposed to be our guest. His son, Nazareth College, made the NCAA playoffs out of nowhere, and he went up to Utica, and he said, can't do it. So last-minute insertion in the lineup, perfect. I got to ask you to start with, Bundy, something I talk about all the time. I don't think anybody else ever talks about it, but hockey nicknames are the worst ever. Drop the last few letters of the last name, add Y or S. Richie, Torts. Those aren't nicknames. Those are shortening names. You have a real nickname.
Yes.
How'd you get Bundy?
Well, I mean, I've been here a long time, and I think a lot of people in the hockey world, it was Al, not Ted.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good for people to know that, yes.
Yeah, Ted Bundy would be – I don't know if anybody knows who Ted Bundy is. If you do, you know what we're talking about. If you don't worry about it. But Al Bundy was married with children.
People saw a likeness in me and my perhaps mannerisms. And you know what it was? It was Craig McTavish my first year. It was my first training camp. I hadn't even played a game in the NHL yet. So I get in. I was watching whatever it was, Nickelodeon or whatever channel, and there was like the reruns of Married with Children. And I think the show had just kind of ended. So the guy goes, you remind me a lot of that dude.
And here's a segue that I never thought we'd be using either. Brad Marsh was the second last guy in the NHL to play without a helmet. He retired before Craig McTavish, who was the last guy to play in the NHL without a helmet. Chris Therien with us. Again, Brad Marsh will be here in a couple minutes. Chris Irma produces this fine program. A lot of stuff going on with the Flyers, Chris. They had a 5-game point streak snapped in the Stadium Series the other night. Before we talk about the Devils game or the team at all or what you're doing, which is very interesting stuff, what do you think about outdoor hockey? Are they overdoing it? Because to me, everybody had a great time at the Meadowlands. The 4 teams, they got to do it again next year. Perfect temperature, perfect situation. Yeah, they lost, and they're 1-5 in outdoor games. People say don't play outdoor games. They had some bad teams during those games. But what's your idea of outdoor hockey in general? And did you go Saturday night?
No, and if I were a fan, I would not have gone anyway.
Why?
I think it's an absolute atrocity, to be honest with you. There's too many games. Like, they've just had too many of them, and the desire for me to watch it, I mean, this is I'm glad you brought this up because it's been a lot of talk this week about, some people loved it. I get that. I understand also it's a cash grab for the NHL and a league that
80,000 people.
That needs to make. Well, that's what they say, but let me tell you, they were giving away plenty of tickets. Like they had a real agenda going. It wasn't like 80,000 were purchased.
Okay.
So which tells me things are getting a little bit old. And here's what I think they should try to do: get rid of all the series games. Have the Winter Classic.
Yep. The one that started it all.
Yeah, play that on December 31st.
Not January 1st.
No, because you're going against the bowl games, right? So get rid of that. Get as many eyes as you can on it.
Okay.
So you play that game on New Year's Eve, make it a great, like a 5 or 6 o'clock start because people still enjoy their nights, and then you do the Heritage Classic, the one in Canada. You can do that in the late fall, which gives them that piece of it. The other thing is too, with the outdoor games, the thing I like, what I'm looking for, I don't want to look at MetLife Stadium in the background. I don't want to see fake green around the perimeter. It was an awful look, I thought. Do it with the sight lines. Remember the Salt Lake City game?
Yep.
Or, excuse, not Salt Lake City, the Lake Tahoe game. I'm sorry.
Lake Tahoe was tremendous.
Where they played
the mountains.
Boston?
Yeah.
Remember the Flyers played right on the lake?
Yep.
They caught a lot of the sight lines. So
they
they lose almost every one they play in. But yeah, they got killed in that. Remember, they had some guys with COVID. They had like 6 guys out with COVID and whatever. So they went and they played the game in Tahoe. If the NHL can do that, bring stands in and make it more about sight lines and what people see from TV, then you're on to something.
Well, the big thing about outdoor hockey, and I know this all started after you retired, the first Winter Classic in Buffalo, it snowed, and that pretty much set the table for all these games. million people, I mean, literally a zillion people watched it, and the outdoor games were born. Bundy, what's it like to play outside in an NHL game? Obviously, you hear about pond hockey in Canada, people's dads pouring ponds in the backyard. Do you think it takes the kids back to their childhood? Is there a nostalgia part of it? What's the hook for the NHL on these outdoor games?
Well, that's when you go back into history of a lot of Canadians. I mean, I grew up playing on outdoor rinks. I grew up in Ottawa where they have the Rideau Canal. It's 4 miles of people skate to work in the morning through the city. So I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff that that we've done it as kids. And they want to try to capture that ambiance. The thing is now, though, Jolly, nobody plays outdoors anymore. They have buildings with 6 rinks in them. And I don't want people to really to say that it's lost its lore, but it's lost its lore. I mean, there used to be stuff before where players would be really excited to go out and play on the rinks, and it's not. Little Johnny gets, he gets driven in the minivan to the rinks, and he's left there all day
by soccer mom, hockey mom in Canada, right?
Yeah, but that's my point. So I think it captured, like Brad Marsh, if he gets here, he'd tell you, I think it really captured a part of the past, and I think finances has made things different, more interesting. I grew up. We were poor. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, in Canada. So we go to the outdoor rinks. It was a big deal to get a pair of skates. And so, those are times are gone. Now, with kids, I mean, they have everything. They have everything they need. Yep. And so, I think the only thing that kids like about outdoor hockey is probably the thought of playing it. But I really did it. Brad Marsh, I know, really did that.
He had a Marshy's in Ottawa.
Yeah.
After he retired, had a restaurant in the arena. All right, the Flyers obviously rebuilding this year. We'll talk about that as well. Doing a lot better than anybody thought they would. Tortorella's done a magnificent job. Yep. We'll talk about practice and coaching, and he got into them this week, which I thought was well-timed. But just in general, Bundy, if you could finish this sentence for me, and I know you do the podcast or the Snow the Goalie with the home games and the like, the Flyers are outstripping people's ideas of what people thought they'd be this year, primarily because of what? Why are they this good?
I'm going to say right off as quickly as I can, effort. Intensity and effort, and giving 100%. Some guys, I think, you get a coach like that sometimes. You're going to have guys that play out of fear. There's different ways to motivate guys. But effort and accountability. That's the word I was looking for. Effort and accountability is the reason why, and they don't give up, and that's part of effort.
Feet.
They do. They play a good game. It's amazing to think, and I was one of them, that this was a team that we thought would maybe get 70-some points. They're going to go far past that. I don't know what it's fascinating, really, and it shows you what hard work can do and resilience. You can. Talent-wise, this is not a team that you'd look at and say, hey, it's got a chance to be in the playoffs.
But they're getting years out of people. I mean,
they are. They've had great years from a lot of guys. The issue I have with this year is if you think it's going to be reduplicated next year, you're wrong.
Well, it's tough to duplicate stuff like this when people expect expectations, longest word in the English language. When you're playing and having fun under the radar, it's one thing. When people expect that, I mean, the trade deadline is going to be a huge moment for Danny. We'll talk about that in a little while. If you could take one kid off this team for the rest of his career, if you're starting an expansion team, and they say, forget the cap, you can have one Flyer right now. Age matters, cap doesn't, potential. Who'd you take off this team?
Well, Konechny.
Over Tippett?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
You asked me about right now because he's got more experience in the league and he's got a lot more years having just in terms of being able to play. So if you're going to start a team right now. Now, do I like Tippett? I'd like to see more samples of him. I mean, we gave him a good contract. He's obviously here for a long time. I would like to see him find a more consistent scoring where you're getting, goal here, goal there rather than going 8 and then scoring in 5 straight and going another 9 without a goal. I hate that kind of scoring. That's streaky goal scoring.
But most of the good goal scorers, I mean, look at Matthews. Doesn't score for a week, then scores 11 in 2 games.
Yeah, he does. But we're talking about a different level of guy there. I mean, he's got a guy who's close to 50 if he doesn't have it already. So, even with Konechny, with as great a years he's had, he's got, 25 goals?
Yep.
So you got a guy that's doubled that. So you imagine what people in Toronto are seeing.
All right, Bundy, you have some kids, 3 kids. It's hard to get you on this show. 3 girls and a boy.
Yeah.
It's hard to get you on this show because Wednesdays seem to be your day for doing a lot of things. Last week, your daughter Alexa went viral, and all 3 of your kids go to Loyola of Maryland, near Baltimore, kind of near where I'm from, in Bethesda, Maryland. And you had a daughter score 44 points in a college basketball game. That's the second most points scored in Division I this year. I assume you were there.
I was.
What was that like watching?
Kind of crazy. Like Alexa, and so I'll tell you, my oldest daughter Isabella started this, and I always call her the pioneer. She was just so competitive, even when she was 9 and 10. And she started playing basketball later, and it was just a natural. So she ended up playing with some of the great Philadelphia programs, the Philadelphia Bells, which is a great program. And she went there and got an offer from Loyola. If she would have probably committed and said she was a point guard, she probably would have been playing in the ACC. But she was a 3, and what we didn't know at the time was the height of the girls is different from the Power 5 from the mid-major Division Ones. So she went. Her younger sister Ava, the middle daughter, she ended up going. And then Alexa was kind of the unicorn of the bunch. She ended up being 6'2", very, very strong, dominant player, and she was committed to Boston University. And they got a new coach in, and she said, well, I don't want to go there. I'd like to go to Loyola and play with Ava. So my middle daughter's played with her oldest one, who's gone.
So all 3 start on the same team?
2 of them. 3 of them never played together altogether.
Isabella's older.
Isabella's 25. Her boyfriend is a starting lineman for the Indianapolis Colts.
What's his name?
Will Fries. Played at Penn State.
Cool.
Yeah, 4-year starter at Penn State. Yeah, he's he had a great year. So the kids are all around sports, and my son who's here, he's like 6'6", 270 almost, 265, and he just turned 17, but he's a football player, and he's got a couple offers already.
D1?
Division I offers,
wow.
Yeah. And some local schools too. So so Alexa last week we played Lehigh, which a great school, and we had it was just something to see. It was one of those games where.
Speaking of wheat, we have a restaurant owner from your hometown of Ottawa that just walked into Chickies and Pete's who got stuck on the bridge. Everything good, Marcy? Good.
So Alexa started, and we played Lehigh, and our team's really turned a corner, and she was able to drop 44 points, and that was a school record, tied for a school record. It's number 1 in NCAA, all men's and women's, for field goals made in a game this year.
Wow.
21 field goals.
That's awesome. Marcy, any of your kids, first of all, welcome.
Glad you could make it, Marcy. I get the traffic, buddy. I get it.
Yeah.
It was bad.
There's an accident there.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly.
Car fire, right?
But anyhow, I'm glad to see someone in the Therien family can score.
Did any of your kids play D1 sports?
I'm sorry?
You weren't exactly Wayne Gretzky yourself, were you?
I didn't say that.
Any of your kids play sports?
All 4 of my kids played sports, and 2 of them were speed skaters, and one of them was quite good at the speed skating. Well, they were both very good, but the one excelled and was in the national program up in Canada and all that stuff. Wonderful sport. I still follow it to this day, and got the European app, and I watch all the long track events and so on. And then my oldest son played competitive hockey, and he's playing beer league hockey up in Ottawa now, which, you know, he's playing with a lot of his buddies that he played minor hockey with, and I think that is a success just in itself, that they played the grind of Canadian minor hockey, and they still love the game, and they're still playing well into their mid-30s. And my youngest daughter played NCAA in Middlebury, and she was a goaltender.
Great school.
Yeah. She was a goalie, and once again, we loved watching her play, and it's great. Now that she's graduated and my son's retired, I got nobody to watch.
All right, we threw this from the Bundy earlier. Let's see what you say, because I don't think you heard this. You can take anyone, you're an expansion team. You can take any one player off the Flyers that you want for the rest of their career. Salary cap has nothing to do with it. It's free. Who do you take?
From this year's team or all time?
This year.
Oh, man.
I needed a second, but I won't tell you. I took one guy.
It's tough. And I mean, I'd have to go with the defenseman because I'm a defenseman. And I don't know. I don't know.
There's nothing that, like, Sanheim's had a better year.
Yeah.
But he's still on the ice for a lot of even strength goals.
Yeah.
We need him to clamp. Like, you need that. He needs to just be able to close the D zone, and then I think you got something, and it's not there yet. I said Konechny, Brad.
Well, I said Tippett.
I was going to say Connecticut, the way he has played this year.
Yes.
He's been a good Flyer.
Yeah, that's what I said to you.
A little up and down, but
Yeah.
he's been really good. But like I said, Tippett, you can't miss with him. I think there's a lot of upside there. But as I said, I'm a defenseman, and I got to go with. I know they're not superstars. They're not household names. I love this Sealer and I love Walker.
Yeah, me too.
And
Sealer's amazing.
Now, if you have the number one pick in the all-time draft, I don't know if they'd be there. But hey, that's who I'm going with. And Cam York's got a lot of upside. Drysdale is impressed. I know I didn't really answer your question, but
It's all right.
I don't really care.
They're true young guys. So
That's
yeah.
the irreverence we love on this show. Nobody cares, and you get the best response that way. Before we take our first break, did you guys ever play together?
No, played against each other.
In alumni games, we play together.
All right.
We dominate every time we step on the ice
You
together.
played with Rico Desjardins. You played with many people. Mark Howe, Brad McCrimmon.
Doug Crossman
Doug
was
Crossman,
my defense partner.
our earlier guest, your defense partner, yep. So we got two defensemen here. We're going to talk about the Flyers, who play tonight at Chicago, last in the Eastern Conference. They got Connor Bedard. They're kind of rebuilding too. Flyers won 4, lost Saturday, trying to get it started up again. This is On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Brad Marsh is here. Chris Therrien's here. Come on down and say hi. We're at Chickies and Pete's in Glassboro on the campus of Rowan. We are back right after this. Stay with us.
Hey, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Dive into our delectable seasonal seafood specials, including our Chickies and Pete's Sticky Lobster Tacos, succulent Brazilian tail meat in a spicy sauce, or try our Chickie and Pete's Shrimp Po' Boy, our signature fried shrimp, lettuce, roasted tomato, and a cherry pepper sauce, served on a fresh baguette. Plus, don't forget our Chickie and Pete's buy one, get one sweet and tasty snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday, only at Chickies and Pete's.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Millions of Americans are losing their medical assistance or Medicaid coverage. If this affects you, Independence Blue Cross can help. You may be eligible to enroll in a health plan for as little as $0 a month. With Independence Blue Cross, you get the largest provider network in the area, including most Keystone First doctors and hospitals. We also offer free 24/7 telemedicine, coverage for hospital stays and prescriptions. See if you qualify for $0 health insurance and enroll today. Call Independence Blue Cross at 1-844-464-2583 or visit ibx.com/staycovered.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700. Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
And you're listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, live from Chickies and Pete's right here in Rowan, Glassboro, right here on 1490 WBCB. It's time now for the Independence Blue Cross Live Fearless Player of the Week. Brad mentioned a minute ago, it's Nick Seeler this week, who leads the NHL in blocked shots. This week got his first goal of the season in the outdoor game. Remember to choose Independence Blue Cross today and begin to live fearless. As Nick Seeler plays, as Sean Walker plays, as Garnet Hathaway plays, they have a lot of guys, a lot of worker bees, Brad, who play a real good brand of hockey and sacrifice for the team. Bundy was saying effort's the main reason he thinks that the Flyers are where they are now. They have a lot of guys that buy in, and Tortorella is a big reason for that, isn't he?
Oh, 100%. We've said that time and time again. I'm sure you say that on your podcast too, Chris. And like, the work ethic is there.
Yep.
Not only every game, but every shift. And if you don't work every shift, you know where you're going to be sitting with Torts, and that's at the end of the bench. Yep. And if it keeps up, you're in the press box. And so, I mean, you've heard it many, many times with the fans. They love going to the games. The games are entertaining. Even if we happen to lose at home, which we've done our fair share of losing at home, they're going home satisfied. They appreciate the effort. And everybody's happy.
I've noticed a totally different building this year.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I mean, I go up to the balcony and it's jam packed. Yep. There's people high-fiving when we leave.
People are watching the game too, not just
they are. Yeah. There's nothing that is distracting from eyes on the ice. And I think that they've done the team's done a great job of reestablishing the connection to the fans.
I think Tortorella has his pulse. And then one thing that he did this week really got me. He said last week, Brad, we talked about it, that he didn't think coaching the team was that big a deal from here on in. He's done all his coaching. They play how they play. Now let's see if we can replicate that every night. Then they went out and laid an egg in the Stadium Series game, and Monday at practice, he laid into them. I think he knows when to push what button, when to change it up. You don't want to say something and that's true for the next few weeks. He has the pulse, and every second he seems to know what's going on, guys. You agree with that?
100%. I think he had practice planned after the first period.
I'll be honest with you. And I agree with that. But the thing is, when you look at Torts' body of work, right, he's done a great job this year. I mean, I'll turn this over to the trade deadline. You're mentioning Danny.
Yep.
You could take this exact same group of guys next year with the same coach and have a totally different result. That's why the turnover is. A coach's voice will always get old. A loud coach gets older a lot quicker than someone who isn't as loud. So what I'm saying is, and that's no disrespect to anybody, but that's the mission, is this, wow, we've had a good year. It's easy to stand by that and say, hey, we treated our fans as something we didn't know was going to happen. The part now is to do the hard part, is to get bodies in here for the future, whether it's picks, whether it's guys that you believe in that can play for you, that can play for that coach. But that's why that it's so important for me, because you cannot think that it's going to be the same team. You could be in 14th spot last year with this team if it's not ready to go or play.
You play with Keenan, Brad. You play with Hitchcock, Bundy. You play with coaches.
I never played with Hitchcock, thank God.
But you played for coaches that limited shelf lives. What do you think Tortorella's shelf life is? I mean, everybody's different. Every team's different. Every coach is different. When you guys played, when did a coach tend to start getting drowned out?
Well, Craig Berube won a cup in what, 18? 19?
19, yep.
He got fired. That's like, and he's been the most successful coach they've ever had. They love him in St. Louis more than the players. He got fired. So, I mean, every coach's voice gets old, and then it gets super old after a while. So it just depends. That's what having a manager that knows that. Like Keenan was hard, right? It was hard on you guys. Kitch was hard on us too.
Yeah, the thing with Keenan, he was new in the league, and so he was learning, and he only knew one way to coach, and that was bark, bark, bark.
Yeah.
Whereas I really think Torts has learned over all his years of coaching, and he's barked and got fired, and I really think that he's in here for the long haul. I agree with you 100%, Chris, that the long haul in coaching is much shorter than what it used to be. Oh, yeah. And but I really think we still see the same fiery Torts, but he's learned a lot from the past, and he's really, really enjoying coaching this group of guys. And I kind of look at this as year one for John Tortorella, even though he was here coaching last year. We got rid of a whole bunch of players last year, so he's got a new group of guys that he's coaching now. And we, as successful as we've been, once again, I'll agree with Chris, we're probably going to have 6 new faces next year. 7 new faces. It's easy.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. And it does. And there's going to be, like Torts said, there's going to be guys that you like that are going to be gone.
Well, he said he's talked to the guys and maybe dealt. We'll talk about the trade deadline after the break, but he's spoken to everybody on the team. You may be dealt. Nobody's untouchable. They play tonight against Chicago. Now, obviously, Mitkov, the Flyers' #1 pick, still in Russia, lighting it up. Can't wait till he gets over here. Chicago's guy, Connor Bedard's already there. 17 goals, 22 assists. #1 pick in the draft, being compared to Connor McDavid, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, Chicago's got a long way to go. What have you guys seen in Connor Bedard?
I haven't, other than highlights, because I don't sit up and watch the games. And so I've seen the highlight reel of him, and I've read the articles on him. Good player. Will he be a great player? Well, the jury will still be out on him for a couple of years. But, I've liked what I've seen, but I can't sit here and tell you that he is going to be a franchise player where he's going to make everybody that wears a Blackhawk uniform better. That's what the great players do, is they make everyone around them better. I wish I was Wayne Gretzky's left winger. I might have scored a few
Wayne Gretzky's
goals.
Right there.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Up at the bar.
Yeah, and so the player, and so he's always going to be a good player. But will he be able to step into the category of great and make everybody on that Blackhawks team better?
All right, guys, I'm not a lawyer, and I never went to law school. I thought about it at one point, but there's a question that lawyers are told to ask all the time, and that's questions you already know the answer to. I want to answer a question now that I already know the answer to with 2 great Flyer defensemen for many years here. John Tortorella's philosophy, start from the goal out. Obviously, Sam Ersson in there now. The defense came York, Sanheim, Sealer, Walker, obviously, Drysdale. Good defense. He plays 7D a lot. Brad, you first. Why does a good team start from defense and work out?
Well, because we're
smart.
Both defensemen. We're smart.
We're just smart people.
Forwards are just dumb defensemen. We just move them up. But the thing is, yes, it starts with the goalie. He stops the puck, and it's up to the defenseman to get the puck out of the zone and start that rush. And if you have a puck-moving defenseman where that first pass is on the tape all the time, it solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. You're messaging, too, to the forwards the whole time. Every move a defenseman makes, because you're going to the first on to get to the puck or to get your coverage, and that'll signal to that winger what they're supposed to do. Most of the time they're too dumb, where it'll take a little bit of time. But that's why there's smart guys like me and Brad that'll have to cover up 2 mistakes in the same shift.
What's Rico doing these days?
I have no idea. We sure could have used him. Well, we didn't really need him actually that
You're
night.
Not
We would have. You want to hear a great story?
Sure.
We played in that game in 2010, right? That amazing outdoor game. Loved that game. That was an amazing atmosphere. Desjardins playing, and Pat Quinn was our coach, and he paired me and Brad Marsh together.
Wow.
I'm like,
great, right?
did he not know that me and Desjardins played together for like 11 straight years?
Did Doug play in that game? You weren't?
Was Cross in that game?
I'll have to look at the team picture.
I have to look back at it again.
Yeah,
Brad, me.
How were you guys
Hatcher
as a pair?
played. We were good.
Fine. Yeah, we had eight defensemen, four sets of D. I think we had 6 forward lines. Joe and Jimmy Watson played together. Yeah. But with Eric Jordan, he keeping busy. He was going to come down for the Hall of Fame weekend, but he had previously booked a snowmobile trip quite a while ago. Snowmobiling is huge in Canada, especially in the province of Quebec. They still get lots of snow there, and so he was somewhere north, really far north, snowmobiling. I don't get the snowmobiling. to go for a short little hour jaunt on the snow. Some of these people, they'll go for weeks.
Yeah.
And they sleep out in the snow, and they got little tents. And
they have
that's
bars,
crazy.
like they have little pubs in the middle of the woods.
It's like camping is here, snowmobiling is there.
Yeah, but you got to be be careful too, because they have the police are out looking for drunk snowmobile drivers.
Oh yeah. They groom the trails, so they're just not out in the wilderness. The trails are very well maintained.
You can get an SWI, snowmobiling while under the influence.
Oh yeah.
All right. We have 2 snowmobilers here. Brad had a restaurant in Ottawa. Bundy's from Ottawa. Will any Flyers be going to Ottawa? We'll talk trade deadline. Danny Briere. A lot of pressure he's under. Does he buy? Does he sell? Got to be patient. Can't be too optimistic. Trade deadline, you got to consider the fans. A lot to consider for Danny Briere. We'll talk about it when we come back. This is the On the Ice presented by Independence Blue Cross from the beautiful Chickies and Pete's at Rowan University. A lot of kids, getting a lot of energy, a lot of TVs. Come on down, have a good time at Chickies and Pete's, where we are right after this.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Relax and enjoy a cocktail from our seasonal cocktail menu. Try one of our delicious, perfectly blended options like strawberry lemonade. How about a raspberry sangria, blend of Pinot Grigio, raspberry liqueur, and bubbly lemon lime soda? Or maybe a Hendrick's Gimlet or a Patron Tropical Mojito is more your style. Enjoy one of these or many others from our Chickie and Pete's sensational seasonal cocktail selection. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700. Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is the true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
And it's time now for the Smart Stat of the Week, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY. That's 1-866-PAY-EASY. 16 days till the trade deadline on March 8. A big day for Danny Briere and the Flyers. What will Danny do? Stay tuned, Flyers fans. That was your Flyers Smart Stat of the Week. Once again, brought to you by Payroll Service Solutions. Call them today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for the smart choice in payroll services. Payroll Service Solutions, catering to the small and medium-sized business to handle all of your payroll needs. Call them once again at 1-866-PAY-EASY. While Danny thinks about that, I have a question for Mr. Therien, a trivia question. How many goals in his NHL career did Chris Therien score? Do you have any idea?
I do. Because it's like a joke amongst my kids.
Oh,
I was never a 30-goal scorer, so I scored 29.
That's correct. You got it.
Yeah.
I scored none, so it's better than I did.
I call myself a 25-goal scorer, Brad.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, one thing you don't have to do, you don't have to redeem yourself, Bundy, from how many goals you scored or didn't score. But you do have to redeem yourself, in your opinion, I guess. You'll state that from other things you've done in life. Wayne Fish, who was on earlier this year with Brad and I, wrote a book called Road to Redemption with you about your struggles, about your successes, the Pennsylvania Recovery Center.
Yep.
Kind of throw it all in the hopper and tell everybody what you're doing today and how hard it was to take that first step and how other people can.
Yeah, I mean, I had a problem with alcohol, and it really came together late at the end of my career. And my last year was a disaster for me, and I was struggling. Like, people don't understand when you're in pain like that, and so I got through it, and it took time. It wasn't easy, and I had to battle through a lot of stuff. I don't want to say I ever did anything that harmed anybody, but it was what I left as that impression on my kids when they were young. And I said, this is no way I'm doing this, and I cleaned up. And as a result of that, my kids have had an amazing journey in life. They were young enough that I didn't impact that. I'm grateful for that opportunity. And then in 2020, when I was let go by the team, by a good friend of yours at NBC, and then the Flyers followed suit which was not the Flyers that I knew. It was not the Ed Snyder version of the Flyers. So I started doing addiction centers in Philadelphia. I joined a great partner named Brant Norton. He runs Pennsylvania Recovery Center. He just started it in 2018. I was able to join him. So I'm a partner now, and we had one place in Phoenixville. That's now addiction and mental health. The place I'm most close to is a spot in Fishtown, but we're going out to 10th and Vine Street.
Nice.
And then we've had two spots in Philadelphia, in South Jersey, in Cherry Hill Recovery Center, and then we operate New Life Recovery as well. So we keep expanding. We want to get as many people the help that they need. Whether they want to come in, we're an aftercare facility. We always call it the meat and potatoes because you learn to live on, in the life that you're used to, adept to, using drugs or whatever that is. So we try to get you back on that path, and I let people know, like, life's not over. It's only beginning. So if you have a problem, don't ever look at yourself as a loser or somebody that says, man, I can't believe this happened to me. You can live a great life. People will move on from it, and you can too.
Find a solution, and good for you. God bless you, Bundy. God bless you in all your efforts for that. It's a wonderful thing. You're clean now, watching hockey, enjoying the Flyers.
13 years last couple weeks ago, so that's that's a long time. I remember, like I said, and I tell people this all the time. I remember it was a time I couldn't get 13 minutes, and it's a hard thing to say now, but it's an honest thing, and that's the way I have to get up every day, is be totally honest with what I was. My goal now, beyond, and there is a great ending to the hockey story because I am back in the Wells Fargo Center every night. We'll talk about that, but this is what I do is passion. I care deeply for it. I never forgot the pain I was in, and I also haven't forgotten the successes out of that decision to rectify, and it's been one great thing after another.
Well, obviously, the pain of personal life doesn't equal the pain of sports. It's one's real and one's fun, but you want to be able to have the fun with what's real. And Brad, Flyers, 16 days, again, the trade deadline. Obviously, you want to get as close as you can before you make any definitive moves because you want to know what you want to do, buy, sell. What Danny can't do one of two things. You can't think we're going to win a cup because we're Flyers, because we have the work ethic, because we have the organization. unless you think you can actually win a cup, you don't want to take chances, trade guys for quick fixes that a guy can be tempted to do, Danny. People are going to try to pick his pocket. He also can't be too patient and say we're not going to trade so-and-so and keep a 29-year-old Sean Walker, for example, if he can get something back from him. So with Sean Walker, with Scott Lawton, the glue guy, with Morgan Frost, Nick Seeler, there's a lot of candidates to go. Do you think you buy? Do you think Danny sells? How do you think it works out?
Well, nobody knows, and I think at the start of the year we all assumed that we were going to be sellers when it came to the deadline, but things have changed since the start of the year, and we're in the thick of things, and you just have to, in pro sports now, you just have to get into the playoffs, and good things can happen. I'm not saying they're going to happen, but earlier on in the show you were talking about you build from the blue line out.
Yep.
And I'd still be, I understand you trade your commodities when you get the most for them, but I'd still be a little hesitant to trade Walker and Sealer.
Even if you got first-round draft choices for either one of them?
Well, I don't know if we'll get a first-round draft.
But if you did?
Once again, we might be back to where we thought we were going to be in September. If we get rid of our two main cogs on the blue line, the puck will be in our zone the whole time.
But the thing Danny Briere's got to think about, guys, isn't really that. The only goal for this team is to win a Stanley Cup, not to make the playoffs. They're 5 points ahead of, they're in third in the Metro. You don't want to sacrifice, okay, we can make the second round this year, but it's worth, to me, I can only speak for myself, it's worth sacrificing this year if next year or 2 years from now can look that much brighter.
So
that's a GM's
job. We go 5-25. We get rid of our defense and all that stuff. We go 5-25. What does that do for the learning curve of this organization?
See, I don't think Nick Seeler and Sean Walker is going to make this team go 5-25. I think you're deeper than that. I think you're better than that. I'm not saying trade them and just give them away, but Bundy, Danny's under a lot of pressure as to a first-time GM, a team that's coming out of nowhere.
That's why he gets paid the big bucks for
But that's his vision. So, he sat in the office for 7 or 8 years waiting to have the job.
Yep.
He was managing the Maine Mariners.
Yep.
Again,
well, he's thought like this his whole career too. When you hear Danny interviewed, he's always wanted to be a GM, and so he studied this whole trade deadline even when he was a player, and so on and so on. Danny's going to make the right moves, and then you guys can.
But
you can criticize.
Oh no, I'm not criticizing. I think he's
don't mean you.
No, but I'm saying that there's 32 other teams that have a GM
31
that want to win the Stanley Cup too.
Yep.
So again, and I know everyone centerpiece is on it, but it's a hard thing to do.
Yeah. Do you
really
agree
is.
Nobody's. I mean, Wayne Gretzky got
ever since the New York Islanders traded for Butch Goring, and then they went on four cups in a row, and everyone attributes that was the trade that brought the Islanders together. Ever since then, 1980 or 81, whatever
people
it was,
been chasing
every GM at the deadline is looking for that deal.
Well, I think you got to realize, if you're a sports fan, you got to realize the name untouchable, the word untouchable doesn't work ever. August 9, 1988, our buddy here, Wayne Gretzky, traded for many different reasons, but just don't ever be afraid to take the call. You can say no, whatever. But if somebody offers enough, everybody's tradable.
Well, 100%. But what is the one thing that you've heard about this team all year long is the chemistry. The dressing room's better, the culture's better. And the big thing that I think a lot of GMs overlook is they're looking at the damn stats too much. And so we trade some solid people away, and we get an arsehole back. There goes the culture.
I think you're going to get draft picks back. Let me ask you about a couple guys just to throw out. A lot of people calling about Scott Lawton, who's not statistically.
Well, they offered him a first round pick was offered for him last
in the
summer.
offseason. Yep,
that's a fact.
What does it take to get him now? And will the Flyers trade Scott Lawton? Is he going to be a Flyer 17 days from now?
No, he's gone.
You think so?
Yeah, he's been told he is. So this is a new wave now. Like, hey, Scott, we're just letting you know we're shopping you. I know that. I talked to his agent, who was my agent 10 days ago. So yeah, he's gone. Here's the deal, though. With you needed him around this year.
They've already gotten the offer that they think they're going to take, or they assume that's going to happen.
So here's the thing. It depends what teams need. What are teams really limited this year? Are centers. There's not enough good ones on teams that need them.
Yep.
They're so thin on center. So that's why. Now, if you're looking like just in the grand picture for Lawton's age and whatever he is, would you look and say I'd give a first round pick for him? Like, absolutely no chance. But somebody that thinks, like Brad said, that they got a chance to win the cup, they want the next Butch Goring. And who knows who that guy could be.
Travis Konechny, Brad, Flyer or not?
Oh, he's a Flyer.
Yeah.
Not going to be traded?
No.
Morgan Frost?
I can't see him being traded this year. 2 years ago, I would have considered it but for whatever, something's clicked with him, and he's a Flyer.
And the Flyers have guys like Nick Seeler, who was out of hockey 2 years ago, went home to Minnesota, interned with his dad's business, came back and played great hockey. I mean, he hated
work. He loves Seeler.
I do love Seeler.
He hated work.
I do, absolutely. I like underdog stories who come out of nowhere and not just prove their worth, but
wait till they add 46 new jobs, Jolly. You're going to have all kinds of Sealers coming out of their dad's shop.
I might sharpen the skates.
There we are. Brad Marsh.
That is a problem with that many players.
Yeah.
You get a lot of junk.
Well, we'll see. I mean,
You do.
We'll talk about the playoffs when we come back. Flyers 5 ahead of a playoff spot. Games are very important. Every game's important. They play the Chicago Blackhawks tonight. Talk about Sam Erson, the job he's done. Owen Tippett stepping up. Brad said last week, or was it Jimmy Watson? I'm not sure. There's a Flyer this year that played better last year than he did this year. That's very odd for any sports organization. We'll talk about that and what John Tortorella has done to do this. Also, Jonesy's role. More Flyers talk on the ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross, looking at the orange and black Philadelphia Flyers. Final segment after this with Bundy and Brad. Stay with us, folks.
Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your Philadelphia Eagles. Here's a winner, fall football, and Chickies and Pete's mouth-watering snow crab legs. For a limited time, buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat dressed in our special blend of seasonings and spices. Pair it with an ice-cold draft beer or one of our signature cocktails. Buy one and get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply. Chickies and Pete's.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
At Independence Blue Cross, we believe in giving you the tools you need to pursue your healthiest life. From premiums as low as $0 per month to health discounts and cash rewards, it pays to have coverage with Independence. With the strongest network of doctors and hospitals in the region and free 24/7 virtual doctor visits, you can feel confident that quality care is always within reach. Learn more about your coverage options at ibx.com.
A truly unique dining experience awaits you at Fogo de Chão. Fogo de Chão awes patrons with their history and tradition of authentic Brazilian steakhouse, offering many cuts of decadent fire-roasted meats prepared over an open fire and served tableside by trained gaucho chefs. Fogo de Chão, 1337 Chestnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. For reservations, go to www.fogo.com or call 215-636-9700. Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon is a true retreat from the everyday, with locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, and Center City. Joseph Anthony is a premier salon and spa destination that offers unique and luxurious services such as the soft pack float and hydrofacial. The Center City location, located on the 5th floor of the beautiful Lowe's Hotel, is now open and features an exclusive summer menu where you can indulge in the Joseph Anthony experience in the exquisite Turkish bath. Joseph Anthony's little black card is the perfect gift for all your loved ones' relaxation needs. Call or go online to josephanthony.com. That's josephanthony.com.
If you're looking for a stylish and sophisticated fine dining experience, visit your Eddie V's Prime Seafood restaurant near King of Prussia. Eddie V's Seafood features an abundant selection of fine wines and curated cocktails to complement exquisite steaks and seafood made from the highest quality ingredients. In the V Lounge, sip on imaginative handcrafted cocktails with attitude while enjoying signature appetizers. Conveniently located between I-276 and I-76 near the King of Prussia Mall. Call them today, 610-337-7823 to schedule your night out for Eddie V's Prime Seafood.
Head out to Dion Square, located at South Oxford Valley and South Olds Boulevard, to get all your essentials in one place, with the following businesses ready to serve you: Pat Dion Beverages, CVS Pharmacy, Hair Cuttery, Smile Culture Dental, Biomat, Liberty Auto Tags, Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Spirits, Lee's Hoagie House, R&J Smoothies and Juices, AutoZone, and First National Bank and Trust of Newtown. Make Dion Square your one stop for all your shopping needs at South Oxford Valley Road and South Olds Boulevard in Fairless Hills.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Once again, here are your hosts, Paul Jolovitz and former Flyer Brad Marsh.
Alrighty, back here at Chickies and Pete's. Jim Moore, the football coach, once said famously in a press conference, playoffs? What you could say about this Flyer team that never thought at the beginning of the year would be a possibility. They got the family atmosphere. People are buying in. Tort's doing a great job. Everybody's doing their job 200 feet. Blah, 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 blah. And now 25 games out, Brad, they're 5 up on third place in the Metro Division. You got to think about every game as a potential playoff game and whether they can win in the playoffs as opposed to just get to the playoffs. Assuming this team can get to it, which is a huge assumption, and obviously injuries play a big part. Can they go anywhere? And obviously, mathematically they can, but would you expect them to go anywhere?
Well, as I said in the previous segment, you get in, you got a chance. And look at over the past number of years, the team that finishes 8th, well, St. Louis did it. Like they're the worst team. Florida, exactly.
Florida got to the final last year.
And, even not to go back too far with the Flyers, but in 2010 we went to the finals. We got into the playoffs. The last game of the year went into overtime and then a shootout.
Yep.
We lose the shootout. We miss the playoffs. They probably blow up the team. Well, we end up going to the Stanley Cup Finals. You get in, you got a chance.
Juan, do you think the same thing?
I do, and I think the lack of overall skill through the league. I mean, it's 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to win, I think.
Yeah.
But so I mean, if the Flyers go in and they play like a team like a Carolina, maybe that's how it lines up. They can beat Carolina. It's not impossible where it used to be. Remember when you played in the 80s? Like you get like Hartford would make the playoffs and they play Montreal.
Yeah.
Now they give it a fight or something, but it would never go anywhere.
Yeah, or even like I started in the 70s, and sometimes there's one place 16, and they had all different concoctions and all that kind of
16
stuff.
16 had no chance.
You were going to lose, but in that one old Norris division, it was always, Chicago, Detroit, and
Minnesota.
The whole division was under 500.
Yeah, they were all awful.
And so it's terrible. Remember, sorry, Jolly, I know you're going to jump in, but the best round in hockey, number one, is always the first round.
Yeah, absolutely.
And remember back in the day, before they went 1-8, Winnipeg and Edmonton would always play in the first round. It was the best hockey that you'd ever see. Free flowing in Winnipeg. They probably had a Stanley Cup contending team
Dale
there,
Howard-Chuck,
but they had to go up against Edmonton all the darn time, and it seems in the first round.
Well, last year, Boston won
the
last 10 President's Trophy winners haven't won the Cup. Boston, one of the great years ever last year, the highest point total ever, out in the first round. Flyers could get in there, and they could do some damage without expectations, obviously. The one question the Flyers have, they're terrible at it. You can have huge improvement. Danny could go for an improve here on the Flyers power play, which is at 13 and change % right now. Is it worth trying to juice that up? Can one player really jack a power play that much, or is Drysdale the addition that they needed, and it's just going to take time?
I mean, he's been good. He's just learning a new system, right? He's coming from a team where he had nothing, basically. Just freewheeling out there and trying to find his way in the league. There's more structure for him now, and there will be more structure for him next year as he moves in. It's hard to come in a midseason trade and just to go in and be the player that you envision or that they envision. So
anything to help our power play in the last 25 games?
You know what? I mean, maybe they get I don't know. I mean, I've seen teams succeed with minimal power plays in the playoffs, but it doesn't happen often. What do you do with that? I don't know. I mean, they don't. I don't think they shoot the puck enough, Brad. To be honest with you,
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. The one thing, I was a penalty killer, never on the power play, and the one
same here.
Yeah. People they want to pass the puck. As a defenseman defending on a penalty kill, that was the easiest thing in the world. when they put the puck at the net, there's always a rebound. You're always looking over your shoulders to see where the rebound went and who was on the ice and all that kind of stuff. I think in this day and age, I think a lot of things are a little too technical.
I agree. Totally agree.
A little too much video, etc.
Just play.
Just pass the puck shot, and then crash the net and get some dirty goals or ugly goals. And then once you get a dirty goal and ugly goal after you're butting in, then it kind of opens up. Maybe, you get a little more creative and you can get that fancy goal. But most goals are goal. Like Timmy Kerr, 4 years in a row, 50 goals. They were all within. You could put a blanket over the
all-time record, 34 power play goals 1 year, too.
Yeah.
That's the NHL record.
So I don't know if there's a guy out there that they have a circle around. If this guy's available, we'll get him to run the power play. I think they just have to keep working at it and get back to simple hockey, put it at the net.
Well, how about the circle around this? The fans as a group. Both you guys obviously love the fans in Philly. Brad's had the alumni. Bundy, you do the podcast, Snow the Goalie from down the center. The fans you talked about a little bit earlier, they were kind of gone for a couple years in spirit. They really look like they're back this year, enjoying the game. How important are they overall to the Flyers' quest to make the playoffs, win in the playoffs, and how important is it to the players to have the fans jack them up a little bit?
I mean, we played in front of sold-out buildings every night, me and Brad. That's what we knew Philadelphia hockey. There were missteps taken in the previous years to this one that kind of set things back a little bit, but reestablishing that contact and the communication with the fans was the most important thing that the new regime had to do. And they've done that. Like, I love being up there. We get high fives. Fans come out. Everybody's giving pump up after games. Like, it's really good, and that's what you need. You need people going around that building representing the team and showing them, like, the hockey player side after of who we are, because that's as important too. Winning, having a great team is the most important thing. Nothing else. It ain't TV. It isn't the perimeter stuff. It's having a good hockey team on the ice.
Talent's more important than culture. You would agree with that, right?
Well, it has to. You're not going to win with a culture. Like you said, you can't just say, we're the Flyers, we're going to win the cup. You have to have skill. They have skill in the pipeline, and they're going to continue trying to get more of it.
But the skill has to buy into the culture.
Correct.
Yep. Got to be both, huh?
Yeah, and the most important thing about the fans now, and Chris says they're excited, they're happy to be there, but they're taking that message out to the street. So now we have the community is excited about the Flyers again. You go places around town, people are talking Flyers. People are wearing their merchandise or their jerseys out in public now. I think they're in a lot of people's closets the last couple of years. But the fans are excited. The city and the area of Philadelphia are excited. And now we're being talked about for the first time in a long time in a positive way.
3 games in a row, 4 in a row, including last time. 3 games now on national television. People want to see this team. And it's good. It's fun. Hopefully the Flyers can get orange and black for this city with the bumper stickers and everything else around playoff time. Can't wait. Bundy, it's been an absolute pleasure having you as a guest.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Good luck to Alexa and all your daughters and all your kids.
They play at Navy right now, 7 o'clock coming up.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck to the Navy, but good luck to Loyola. And well, you got to root for the Navy, not the Navy basketball team, the Navy itself.
Good clarification.
That's fair. He's scooped it up well, Brad.
Yeah. There we are. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate it always. Good effort getting here, and see you next week in Bordentown. Without Morgani, Chris Ermer has produced this fine program. Stephen Lawler, a great job handling this dials and knobs back at the station. For Chris Therien, for Brad Marsh, I'm Paul Jolovitz. It's been On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross from the great Chickies and Pete's in Glassboro at the campus of Rowan University. We'll be back next week with another edition. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Be safe, and go Flyers.
You've been listening to On the Ice, presented by Independence Blue Cross. Tonight's show is an exclusive presentation of 1490 WBCB and heard around the world at WBCB1490.com.
You're listening to 14